Right, now, before we go on to all of the other bits and pieces, I've managed to snag ourselves a guest. I've already been speaking about him, and it is, let me see, what have I done with the notes for that one? I put them somewhere safe. Ah, it is, whilst I'm looking for that in a second, it's the Sports 2000s. Now, these things are absolute weapons round the Castle Combe circuit, and I cannot wait to see them going through there. They are going to be so quick. Here we go. It was in a safe place. And it is one of the drivers in that one. Let me see. Let me just remind myself. Car 117 Duratec B, a Van Diemen RFS02, that can't be right, but I'm going to bring him on now. It is. He's nodding his head. Okay. I'd forgotten that fact. It's Colin Peach. Bring him in. Let me change that round and put you up to the bigger focus. Good evening, Colin.
Hi, thank you very much, Chris.
You all right, mate? I see you were waiting patiently in the background there.
Yeah, that's good. So, yeah, it's nice to see the Jaguars out as well, because I've done a bit with them as well. So
I did see that actually when I was getting back up to speed again with your information, and I saw that you had done some stuff in the Jags, and I thought you'd be feeling at home seeing them there.
yeah, no, they're excellent. So
speak to us about your car, and I should have looked at you. Were too small in the green room for me to read the t-shirt, and I love that with the 117. It is a Van Diemen, and of course I associate that with Formula Fords.
Yeah, that's what they're mostly known for, is their Formula Fords. But they did make Sports 2000s. There's quite a lot of them went over to America as well. So the car itself's one of the newer old Van Diemens. So it's from 2002. So it's quite an old car now. But
okay,
yeah, there's about 3 or 4 of them that are still going in Sports 2000 Duratecs.
Well, I mean, the thing that I love is that there's a fantastically eclectic mix. I mean, you're in the Duratecs rather than the historics.
Yeah.
Which I think it's actually called historics rather than Pinto these days.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's changed recently. Yes.
Yeah, I thought so, and I was like going, right, okay, I need to make sure I get that right. And it's split grids this year, isn't it? That's a nice addition.
Yeah, I was a bit like you. I'd like to be a bit prepared. So I was looking back, and last time we went to Castle Combe, we only had 20 cars, and it was a mixed grid. So yeah, we've got 20 in Duratecs and similar, I think, in the historics. So
slightly less, but yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's good, healthy grids, and I saw that because I commentated on you guys at Silverstone earlier this year, and it was just a lovely thing to have the grid split, and it seems to have attracted a lot more of the historics out, I would say.
Oh, definitely.
In terms of the Sports 2000s, if you were going to give a synopsis about what a Sports 2000 car is, what would you say? On the spot, I know.
Thoroughbred racing car.
They really are, aren't they? I mean,
yeah.
One of my old school friends, Keith Mizzen, races with you. Sadly, he's not out at Combe, which is a shame. But he says is that it's the best bang for your buck in terms of the speed and the handling you get out of these cars for the cost is such an incredible return.
Yeah, I totally agree with it. These cars are really, really quick. Like 0 to 60 in them, 2.5 seconds. And we'll probably be doing 130 miles an hour over Avon Rise. You know,
wow.
They're very, very quick cars.
I mean, they're super. And the point being is that they don't have to slow down excessively for the corners with all the downforce on them either. No.
Yeah, especially in the Duratecs. The historics, they move around a lot more. They're really... I started off in the historics, so I've driven them for a number of years, and they were really, really good fun as well. So they don't have the downforce. They slide, and you can drive them really nicely like a Formula Ford. Yeah,
and yet the lap times, I'd expect to see some very quick lap times from you guys.
Yeah, I think we're doing about 107s in the Duratecs.
Wow.
So
super impressive. I mean, it would be interesting to see actually whether we may well get lap records broken this time, because we've got the new... Now, it's not a new MCR, but it's a new bodywork on the MCR, isn't it?
Yes, it seems to be a big improvement. So yeah,
and this I forget the name of the person, but this was designed by an ex-Ferrari F1 aerodynamicist.
So yeah, well, it's the students that were at Swansea University. They have John Eiley, Tim Tudor, and they did it for their degree course, redesigning the aerodynamics for it. So yeah, I think John Eiley is previously from Ferrari and Jordan and other teams as well.
I mean, in itself, that's a pretty cool story, isn't it? Really, the
Yeah.
Sports 2000. I mean, they are just like incredible bits of kit. I'm just looking. Tom Stoughton's not out. He's been having all sorts of problems with his car, though, hasn't he, this year? An ex
Not necessarily
multiple
problems,
champion.
but they've changed. They've gone for um, they've changed the whole design philosophy of their car. They've got this single shock absorber system that they're going on. So they're just spending more time testing rather than racing at the moment. So it's a
Which is
shame because
basically
he's
what
one of the good ones.
he is. He's a multiple champion, isn't he? And he
Yeah,
was rather a forlorn figure when I spoke to him in the garages at Silverstone, that's for sure.
yeah.
I tried to tease him up to the fact of going, it's got to be a good challenge, though. You've won lots of championships and now you've got this development. And he went, yeah.
I
He
feel
wants to
his
be,
pain,
yeah, he wants to be back at the front, doesn't he? That's for sure.
definitely.
In terms of, we'll come back to the Sports 2000s in a second, but I want to jump to you for a moment, if I may. Is that reading your story is such a cool one? Is that you were quite late starting racing?
Yes, I didn't sit in a racing car of any type, go karts or anything, till I was about 26. Previous to that, I was doing radio control car racing with my
Right.
friends all the way up till then. Um, and then I entered a TV show called "So You Want to Be an F1 Driver." Um, got quite far into that. I think got about the fifth round. Got knocked out just before the final 20.
Oh, wow.
But the judge, Tim Matthews, he offered me a drive for 3 races at the end of the 2006 season in Sports 2000. So obviously I took him up on the offer,
Yes.
and nearly 20 years later, I'm still there. So
I mean, that is incredible. And it is. I mean, I've lost count of how many times I've commentated on you, to be honest with you. I don't think I caught you in the Jags. When did that happen?
I've oh god, about 3 or 4 years ago. They're both times we've been at Thruxton, so
Ah,
probably
okay.
wouldn't have
No,
met
I've
you
only
then.
been there a few times to Thruxton, so yeah, I missed you doing that. So that makes sense of that. But I certainly saw the notes. But your heart clearly lies the Sports 2000s.
Oh, absolutely, I love them. So
What's your? Have you got a success record, or are you sort of like a victim to these common names that are at the front?
well, the championship's broken up into classes. So we have the Class A cars for the modern cars, Class B for the older cars. So like the older cars like mine is converted from a historic car, so it's still got the manual H pattern gearbox and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
So that's a bit of the difference. But we have our own classes, which I've won Class B a couple of times overall. But generally, the racing is so good, the cars are so good that even now I try to always finish in the top 10 overall. So the latest cars and the old cars are still really competitive with each other. So
Which
it
I mean,
makes for
that's
good racing.
saying for a B class to be in the top 10 overall. I mean, that is super impressive. To be fair,
Yeah.
you're leading Class B again this year at the moment.
Yes.
It's I'm just trying to see where's the total number of points. There we go, 63. Actually, you're controlling it. John Owen on 36 in his MCR S2. So you are in control at the moment of Class B. So you'll be hoping to
Yeah.
carry that on.
I hope so. Yeah. So, like I said, I tend to look at the overall standings because I like beating the Class A cars. It's a real sense of achievement to beat the better cars. So,
And to put that one up there, 7th overall, and that is super impressive with some pretty big names that you're ahead of there. I'm not sure you're supposed to be ahead of Roger Donan now, are you? Because he's
probably not.
chairman. Is that his title? Boss,
uh,
boss. We can say
yeah,
that much.
chairman, I think he is. Yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah.
or club secretary, maybe.
You need to be careful there. Then he's behind you, so that's not what you'd want. But Michael Gibbons is leading the way at the moment on 62 points from last year's champion Josh Law on 50. Several of these are sort of getting used to this new bodywork, though, aren't they? I would say.
Yes, especially Michael's only had it this year, I think, which has helped him massively. Ash Law's got it this year as well, which is he's had a really great season as well so far. So he's doing really well with that. So yeah,
Well,
the new bodywork
Ash
seems
is
to be.
behind you in the standing, so you can't say that. But
He's had a
Josh
great start.
he's still up in second. Third is Paul Traherne, David Houghton, and then the Tudor and Sherrington duo. How are they
Yes.
doing that?
I'm not sure. They had Patrick was there at Brands Hatch, sharing the car with Tim. So I'm not sure if that's just a quirk in the championship or whether they're sharing it for the rest of the season.
Got you. Yeah, because Sherrington, but well, both of them are names that have been around in it for a long, long time as well. It does seem to be a vortex, doesn't it? Once you're in, that's it.
Yeah. So, yes.
You don't want to go anywhere else.
No.
Leading Class A, of course, is Michael Gibbons, 62 to 50 from Josh Law. So score you score both in your class and overall, I see then.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep, I can see that one. So you're going to be cementing your Class B plus the overall in the historic. Now, we don't have last year's champions of the historic out this weekend, Mark Noiro and where are they at the moment? John Harmer, second in the standings at the moment, but they're not out this weekend, I see.
I don't know. Maybe they've gone to watch Le Mans.
It might be, and I did tell me because I know those two from their Caterham racing days as well, and that was exciting. That came down. I was there for the Brands Hatch Decider at the end of last year on the commentary team for that one, and it really came down to the very last race, didn't it, for those guys? And that's the way you want it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So that's the whole championship, the historics and the Durotex. It's always really, really close. Normally goes down to the last round. So
yeah,
great.
That's what we like. Shriver in car number 37, leading the way in his Royal RP37. Noiro and Harmer second on 50, only 4 points behind them, but only 4 points behind them is Charlie Hyatt, and Charlie is out there in this race, and he'll be looking to jump ahead of them this time. Incidentally, Ross Hyatt is his company Aspley House Capital PLC are the sponsor of the Historics. And to show the love of it, in the Durotex, it's then David Gorst, his company BS Burner Supplies, are the sponsor of that. So it goes to show the belief that you drivers have in this championship is that sponsoring it as well.
Yeah, that's a really good thing. Is obviously it's there for the long term. If you're sponsoring your own championship, then it's really, really good series to be in. So
absolutely, and I always say that because thank you guys for the sponsorship. I know you all do, because it does help the championship when those sponsors are on board. So you've got qualifying each Saturday morning. You've then got one race apiece in the afternoon on Saturday, and race Sports 2000 Historics are on Sunday morning, and then your Duratec one is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So after your first race, which is the only race number 3, you've got a nice long gap, haven't you?
Yes, we have. So
barbecues
we get to watch some racing. Yeah, definitely. Got watch some racing and then have some barbecue. Be brilliant.
You do. I mean, how many times have you been to Castle Combe, either as a spectator and a competitor?
Ooh, I've been there lots. I've got a couple of classic minis, so I go to the mini festival that you have there, the action days, watch the Mighty Minis racing and stuff. So I've been there a few times, probably only about 3 or 4 times racing, and then a lot of times watching and spectating.
Favorite spot to spectate?
Probably Quarry, isn't it? It's a really obvious place, but it's a really good spot to watch from. So
it is, and still that love is the fact that from most places you can see so much of the circuit anyway, can't you? It's just a wonderful, wonderful circuit on that front. Okay, from a driving perspective, favorite part of the circuit to drive on?
Oh, there's a chicane. I think the S's. You go through the S's, and then there's a right-hand corner which you can just about take flat in the Sports 2000, so you don't lift, so the car's really dancing. So probably that part of the track's my favourite.
Okay, so S is into Old Paddock,
yeah,
right in front of my commentary colleague that will be over in that box, which will be in Salmons over at Old Paddock commentary box. So he'll be enjoying it there. Scariest part of the circuit?
I think it's Tower Corner.
Really?
Yeah, I think it just sort of jumps out at you, and I really want to push around there, but there's not a lot of runoff on the outside if you make a mistake. So
no,
probably
really
Towers is the scariest part for me. So.
Yeah, I can understand that, and I think that does come out a fair few bits, and it's kind of like almost like a double apex to some extent as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a. I think that's what make that. I don't know if I'm going to say tempts you to want to go faster through it because it's that double apex. It's an interesting corner. It's one of the fun ones. So
We've had a few of our Formula 4 drivers have made passes around the outside at Tower.
I believe it because I think if if you're brave enough, you can definitely try.
It's not doesn't happen excessively often, but when they do it, we all kind of tend to lose ourselves for a moment when they do it. It's a big ballsy move, that one, isn't
It
it?
is, I bet.
It is. Well, I mean, I'm delighted to hear that as well as the Sports 2000 with a fantastic grid. I have to say is that we got something like I can see it on the screen in front of me now. 20 Duratechs at the moment, possibly some extras that will come in, and 19. So actually, there's only one difference between them. Oh no, sorry, the historics are 13 on the grid at the moment in historics, 19 in the Duratechs. But we could still have a few late comings in. Did you go testing today?
No, testing's cheating.
Yeah, absolutely. Too right. Do you know if any of them did?
I think I saw on Facebook that the Tim Tudor MCR was down there, and I think I saw Chris Snowden might have been cheating as well. So
I love it. I love it. The banter starts already. I mean, I get the impression it is a great paddock to be part of as well.
oh, it's definitely we've got some drivers that drive over from the Netherlands to come race with us. Peter Brewer, who's in Class B, so I'm quite pally with him.
Yeah.
He comes over, and I asked him, "Why'd you come all the way here?" And he said, "The racing's about the same, but it's after the racing everyone becomes friends. When in other
Wow.
places he's raced, it stays very competitive all the way through. So that's why he likes to race in the UK." So, and I sort of agree with him totally that it's a really nice paddock in all the championships in the UK, not just Sports 2000.
Although I see he's not over this time.
No, he had a bit of an accident at Brands Hatch, so he's got some repairs to make to his car. So
I love seeing in Class B as well. You've got a driver I've commentated on countless times in the monopostos in Bryn Tootle. That's an experienced racing driver right there.
is it? So I think he's only started with us this year, so I've not really had much chance to chat with him and talk to him about his car and stuff yet. But
I dare say he's still getting used to it, but I just know that he was incredibly quick in the monopostos and the single seater. So he's going to have that aerodynamics kind of idea and what have you, isn't he? So that'll be interesting to
definitely,
see. But yeah, it's going to be super tight at the front yet again. Keep an eye out. Michael Gibbons, Josh Law, incredibly close. I mean, actually saying that 12 points in it, but you get the idea is that they're going to be going for it. And it is a brave circuit, isn't it? And it doesn't suit everybody.
definitely. There's it's a much faster circuit than you think. Like Thruxton's obviously the fastest in the UK, and I run the same ratios around here as I do around Thruxton. So it says how fast Castle Combe is. It's a really, really great track. It's one of my favourites. So
Yeah, no, and we love you for saying that. You've said it to the right people that it's your favourite. That's for sure. But no, I get that as well. And let's not kid ourselves. It's Marmite. There's some people that just can't, whether it's the lack of runoff, the speed of it, those sort of things, and they just go, nope, can't get my head around it. And it's their least favourite to it being their favourite, and it's like that's fine. We'll sit there as well. That
it's a really great track. It's a really, really fun track. So I was really
is.
pleased when I saw it come back this year. So
Yeah, 2018, I think was the last
it was,
time you were
it
with
was a
us.
long time. So.
It really was. So it is brilliant to see that you guys are back again, and we look forward to that. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on, Colin. I do appreciate it. Told you there was no need to be worried about coming on. I don't bite much, and it's just brilliant to sort of give us a bit of an insight into the Sports 2000s. It's a real wonderfully quick car, but very rewarding by the looks of it as well.
Oh, they're brilliant. So yeah, thank you very much for having me on.
No problem,
it's been
mate.
great to talk to everybody. Hope I've not bored you too much.
No, definitely not. We can't wait to see the Sports 2000. There'll be some of the quickest cars over the weekend, and we thank you for coming out to play in them, mate. And we wish you all the best of luck.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Colin. Thanks,
Bye.
mate. Cheers.